today I am going to be taste testing all of the Buc-ee's fudge from their Buc-ee's fudge sampler and then tier listing it. I, of course, busted out the old tier list that I used a while back because, you know, why not? I made this thing and I'm very proud of it, so don't make fun of it or else I will cry. Warning, of course, this is very, very subjective. This is, of course, my opinions, so if you have any other opinions, let me know in the comments below, but, you know, don't fight me too much. Okay, so let us begin. So I thought the first ones should be, you know, very, very appropriate. The M&M and chocolate, and then also the key lime pie. So first things first, the M&M chocolate. It looks like it's just like regular chocolate with M&Ms with it, but I'm very excited. Eating this reminds me of my own disastrous fudge making incident I had a while back. And how badly I really did fail at it, because this is perfect. It is nice and smooth. It is almost creamy. It's super fudgy. You know, it is just perfect consistency throughout. It's not grainy. It's not runny. It doesn't have problems like mine did. It is really perfect, and I really loved the M&Ms too, because it gives a little bit of textural contrasting, but also a little bit of flavor too. The actual fudge is still that very nice, rich milk chocolate, but I feel like the actual M&Ms have a just tiny difference in chocolate, which is really, really nice. Now I have to say, getting into the whole bias, I really like M&Ms, so this is really perfect for me. It is chocolate, which I really like, it's milk chocolate, which I really, really like, and it's M&Ms, so this is really just like made for somebody like me who loves all these things. So with that being said, on the tier list, I'm also using sticky notes because I didn't really know anywhere else to identify each one. I am going to be very, very controversial and say that the M&M fudge, is a solid S tier. To me, it is perfect. So let's go on to the more wackier kind, which is the key lime fudge, the key lime pie fudge. So it looks like it has kind of like a graham cracker base, and then of course the key lime itself, and then a little bit of a topping, you know, but let's try it out. I personally do not like fruit as much as I should, meaning I don't like fruit at all, which is really, really bad for my health. I like vegetables though, so I have that going for me, but I think the biggest reason why I don't like fruit is mostly because of the sourness. I'm not a big fan of sourness, and I think that's probably why for like actual like key lime pies, I went down to Key West many years ago, and I was really, really sad because I just was not a big fan of the key lime because it was just too sour for me, which is honestly a wild statement. I know it's super crazy that I think this way, but that's how I am. With that being said, I really do like this fudge because it has that tartness, you know, it has that sourness of the key lime, but it's not overwhelming, you know, it's still nice and sweet. It's kind of like almost dull a little bit, still very much there, but enough that people like me really still like it. I also love the fact that you can really taste the graham cracker crust. So as a whole, I think if you're not a big fan of key lime pie like me, this is still good, and if you are a fan of key lime pie, this would probably be really, really good. I would probably give this a solid A. I think that if I liked the sourness more, it would be definitely S tier, but even with that being said, I would still say it's a solid A. Okay, so the next day, I'm filming this over a couple days and it's raining outside really hard, so this is why the hair looks different. But we are back with the next two samples. We have the dark caramel and then also the butter pecan. So let's try first the dark caramel. Okay, so if you like caramel, you will love this. I feel like with all of these, honestly, if you love the, you know, aspects, you know, the flavor, you will love each of these flavor. It has a nice, you know, not like super thick, but a pretty good layer of caramel in between the chocolate. Chocolate's the regular stuff. I'm pretty sure it's just the regular chocolate fudge. So that, you know, really good fudge, which I really do like. The caramel, it's a little bit salty, but it's mostly, you know, that very, very nice soft caramel. I'm 100% honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of caramel, mostly because like when I was like really little, I had like my teeth fill, I think, in the back, and so they told me not to eat caramel, so I didn't when I was little, and therefore I don't like it now because I didn't get used to it when I was little. But with that being said, it does taste really good. It's just like the texture is just something that I don't really like personally. I think that I would put the caramel one In B, it still tastes good. This is very much just because I'm not a big fan of caramel, but it still tastes pretty good. Again, if you like caramel, you will like this one. And then we're on to the pecan. There has a lot of pecans in it, both, just the regular, just on top, but also there's some cut inside, which I think is nice, but let's try it out. Okay, so for this one, I'm not the biggest fan. The pecans are nice. I do like them. There's a nice, amount of pecans I do like. But the actual fudge itself, still nice and smooth, still good texture-wise. But I think it's white chocolate, which I'm not the biggest fan of. And I think the flavoring is maple, which is okay, but it's just nothing that I really like that much. Again, I think that if you like pecans, you like this, but I'm not the biggest fan of pecans, and I'm not the biggest fan of this flavor. So I think that I would put the pecan one, I'm gonna say, I feel bad saying this, but I think I'm gonna put it in C. I'm just, again, not the biggest fan. But I do like this one better, but I like these, of course, way more. But yeah, I think a solid C is where I would put that. Okay, the next two we have is the blueberry one, and then also, I think it's just the regular chocolate. So let's try it off with the blueberry. That is surprisingly really, really good. I kind of realized while I was doing this is I really like Buc-ee's because with all these fudges, yes, a lot of them probably do have some kind of artificial flavors of some kind, but they always kind of feel like the flavor tastes very natural, Like for instance, like the key lime pie, like it tasted like key lime. And this one where it's blueberry and you can see a little bit of blueberries in them and it really tastes like blueberry. It doesn't have that super artificial taste you get sometimes with the chemicals when they put in, kind of like pretending to be a certain flavor. This really tastes like blueberries. And I think it's probably because they use some of the actual fruit and some of the actual, ingredients. It does taste, like blueberries, and then it's mostly blueberry tasting, and then, a little bit of white chocolate, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Again, I'm just not a big fan of white chocolate, but the blueberry flavor really does make this really, really good. I'm pleasantly surprised because I'm not the biggest fan of blueberries, but I really do enjoy this. When it comes to the board, I think I would give this an A. I really enjoyed it. I think, maybe because it pleasantly surprised me. I wasn't expecting it to be good, but, well, expectations usually give you really, really high outcomes. I think this is a very good example of that. So A for the blueberry fudge. And then we're also doing the regular chocolate. So I'm really excited. I have enjoyed the chocolate so far, so I think it's just gonna be like the normal, but you never know. You can't mess up with the original. This is really, really good. It's just like the basic chocolate fudge, but I'm a big fan. I think there's a reason why it's the base for a lot of other fudges that they use, because it's just a really, really solid chocolate fudge. It is a dark chocolate, so if you are, more inclined to like the darker, richer chocolates, this isn't this, but it's really, really good. So with no surprise, I give this a solid S. Okay, we have next one. Sorry about the lighting. I'm filming a little bit earlier than I usually do, but more or less, we have the peanut butter and then also the praline. So let's begin with the peanut butter. Okay, I think I definitely messed up my naming of this one. It's not peanut butter, it's Mocha. It's definitely Mocha. You can definitely taste the Mocha taste. It's not very noticeable. It's not like super, super in your face. Like it's like chocolate and then Mocha. It's still very much chocolate and then Mocha. But you can definitely taste a little bit of it. I think, as all of them, if you are a fan of Mocha, you'll probably like this one. It's not as defined a flavor as some of the other ones, but it's okay. I have to say I was not prepared for Mocha, so I think like a little bit of my brain has to like reorient itself because of that, but it's not bad. I'm not the biggest fan of Mocha, honestly. When it comes to my ranking, this says peanut butter, just ignore the actual thing, but what it is, the Mocha, I would put it in a solid B. Just, not the biggest fan. You can really kind of see realizing this tier list is very, very, very subjective, because you can really see it's very much of what I like. But again, they're all good. It's more, subjectivity, of course. But let us try now the praline. Sadly, this praline is everything that I dislike the most. It is white chocolate on both, the sides, sandwiched with soft caramel, and then some nuts. I'm used to praline being more hard. Probably it's softer just because, you know, number one, it's in fudge form, and number two, it's in room temperature. But honestly, I'm just not the biggest fan. It mostly honestly tastes like white chocolate. The caramel comes in, but it's not as strong as the caramel in the actual caramel flavored fudge. I kind of wish it really did have like praline, you know, it was more praline. I think I'm gonna have to put this, sadly, in D. It's just really just based off of my preferences. I just like, it's everything I just don't really like. I have two more. We have actually kind of a twin of one we've already had before. It is a chocolate pecan instead of just the butter pecan. And we also have a salted caramel, which is very sticky. So let us begin with the chocolate pecan. So while the butter pecan has, you know, the white chocolate and then the pecans, this one of course is just the regular chocolate and then also pecans. As you all already know, I quite enjoy the regular chocolate. And the pecans, you know, there's not a lot of them and they don't really give any distinct actual flavor. It's more the texture than anything else. But even with that, I do enjoy it. And I think because of that, you know, reason, I would definitely say that I would give the chocolate pecan a solid A. You know, it's mostly the chocolate, which is, of course, an S tier. So putting it here is pretty good. Again, the pecan, no actual taste really, it's mostly the texture. And now we have the salted caramel. That is very, very sweet. I think this is the first one where my body is viscerally like, this is too sweet. Like I can feel it. I'm like pinching it. It kind of reminds me of the caramel, the salted caramel flavored what's it called, yasso bar that I had in my other ranked video. But this is very sweet, but it has that like really good salted caramel taste. Definitely the real stuff versus like a artificial tasting. It also has a little bit of malt and salt sprinkled in, so you can have it, so every once in a while I get a little bit of like, you know, that crunchiness of that salt. Another thing that I have noticed is what I really like about this is, you know, my issues with caramel, it sticks to my teeth too much, and just like that is just annoying to me, which is why I'm less than happy about caramel. This surprisingly doesn't. There is, you know, caramel in it, of course, but it doesn't stick to my teeth as much, which I do like. It is still very, very sweet. I think that if you are a salted caramel fan, this is your go-to fudge. You have to have it. It is a need, not a want. But for the average person, and for me personally, I think I would still give this, I would say, in reality, it should be between an A and a B and a C, but I would give it a B just because I am impressed by it. I think this is also kind of based off the fact that I wasn't having a lot of expectations going into it, and so the fact that it kind of was better than I had expected is, you know, probably pushing it up to a B, but it is definitely the lowest on the B category. We have our last two fudges here. Apologies for the light. I realized that, you know, for the past couple of clips, lighting has not been good. I've been usually filming in the morning times, that's why it's been really bad, but you guys don't hear that. More or less, from there, we have our last two, which I think is the chocolate soft praline. I also realized that when I did praline in the beginning, the one with the white chocolate, it was actually soft praline. So my whole like rant about how I wish it was, you know, harder praline, and then how maybe it wasn't because of the temperature. That was all, you know, just me. I didn't realize that it was actually soft praline. But this is the other variant, which is the chocolate variant. And we also have a banana pudding one. So let us begin with the chocolate soft praline fudge. So as usual, they're using their, you know, nice, amazing S tier chocolate fudge for, you know, the base of it. It honestly kind of takes over the entire flavor, even though there's a lot of caramel, which I have a problem with. I'll get at that in 1 second. You really can't taste the caramel a lot. It's really like just chocolate all in all. The peanuts have a little bit of different texture, but again, it's mostly taken over by the caramel texture, which is a problem because as we know, I'm a big fan of soft caramel. It is very messy to eat. I'm not the biggest fan. It is kind of hard to eat. That being said, I would give this a C. It does taste good. I do like the taste of it, more or less, but the actual texture is just not my thing. You know, I'm just not happy with it. And finally, last but certainly not least, is the banana pudding. Okay, I am pleasantly surprised. I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of bananas, which I'm not sure if that says a lot about me or not, but I'm just not a big fan of bananas. I'm a biggest fan of fruit, honestly. And this tastes like bananas. Like, it's kind of weird. There's no texture of bananas. There's no there's no artificial tasting bananas. It just tastes like bananas, which I kind of like. I think one of the biggest issues with bananas for me is the mush texture of bananas. I'm just not a big fan. It has that, fudge texture that I like. I'm pretty sure it is being like encased by the white chocolate fudge, but the banana taste is so strong that again, it just tastes like bananas. I think there is also a little bit of texture differences with like some kind of cookie or whatever, kind of give that like, crust, but but it's so softened by, by the fudge itself that you really can't taste different texture. It's really just fudge texture. But honestly, it's not that bad. It's not my favorite, but it's not that bad. I think with that being said, it's not my favorite taste, which would be a C, but it's not annoying me texture-wise, which would be a B. And with that being said, I would give this a B. Last on the B's, but still a B. But that being said, that is my tier list of all the Buc-ee's fudge from their sampler flavor, thing. Honestly, to say that my review as a whole is, if you want to try the Buc-ee's fudge, or if you just want to have different flavors of Buc-ee's fudge, I would say buy the sampler. Number one, it's $16 or $15, blah, blah, blah. Plus tax, it's $16, which is, to me, a really, really good deal for all the fudges you get. You get 12 fudges, and they're in small enough pieces that even if you have, ones you don't like, it's so small that it doesn't make a big deal, you know what I mean? Like, you can still have it, and you don't have to feel like, oh great, I got like 5 pounds of this fudge that I hate, you know what I mean? But it's a really, really good way for you to kind of see which ones you like, and then when you go back next time, you can say, oh, I really like the M&M chocolate. I'm gonna get 12 pounds of that instead of just getting, 5 pounds of it or 1 pound or whatever, you know what I mean? So as a whole, I give the actual sampler a solid S tier. When it comes to my ratings, I think it's pretty obvious that I think most of all, I do really like these fudges. I think it's high quality. The flavors are nice. There's no like weird chemically tasting of them. There's no like issues with artificiality. They probably are artificially flavored in some way or other, but you can't taste it. Therefore, it's in good in my books, When it comes to, the breakdown, kind of a little recap, I gave an S tier to the M&M fudge and the regular chocolate fudge. It kind of tells me how much I like, chocolate as a whole. A tier was the key lime pie, because it was just so cool, And I think it's honestly the only way I like key lime pie, which also says a lot about me. Also the blueberry and the chocolate pecan. And then for the B, I had the dark chocolate caramel, the peanut butter, or actually, this isn't the peanut butter, sorry, this is the mocha. The mocha, the salted caramel, and the banana pudding. And then finally, for the C, I had the butter pecan, the chocolate caramel, toffees are more or less just the chocolate praline. And then finally in D, it was the white chocolate praline. But yeah, that's my rating. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I have enjoyed making it. If it was a video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.